Hey, good evening. Welcome to Captive Audience. Here it is, Wednesday, January 8th. We've gone through 1 week in January of 2025. And wow, there's so many things that have happened um, just in the first week. So buckle up because I think it's going to continue along that trend. So, yes, I'm Sunny Danforth, and we're still winning. And I look forward to more winning. I'm not tired of it, as Trump would say. Um, well, the first thing I wanted to talk about tonight is, of course, Southern California, the fires, the wildfires there. There's a story here in the Epic Times that shows 5 dead and 100,000 are under evacuation orders, and a state of emergency has been declared by Governor Newsom. And I want to say that if you don't know, when the Santa Ana winds blow, they know they're coming. Dawn is not. Hi, Lori. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. Dawn got hung up today, so he's not. He's not here. Unfortunately, he wants to be here, but he couldn't be here tonight. So sorry, it's just me. It wasn't planned that way, but hey, that's the way it goes. We got to roll with life, right? Um, so in Southern California, when the Santa Ana winds are coming, the arsonists come out of the woodwork. It always happens. The area burning, sad to say, is not the first time it's burned. It's burned many times. And because they do allow a lot of growth and not cut, because the environmentalists, it just aids in the fire. There's a lot of things that have exacerbated the problem there. And part of it is in this article, I'm going to post the article here for you because it has a lot of really good points from the Epic Times. And the county fire was prepared. Okay, they're going, we know what's coming, and the arsonists are going to come out. Well, they had 4 fires all at once. And so the county fire department says, we weren't prepared for 4 fires. And I've got friends down in Altadena and in Pasadena, family, and in Pacific Palisades. This is an area that friends and family are in, and it's awful. It's awful what's happening. My heart goes out to everybody, and I'm sad that there's people have lost their lives. But with the winds blowing, that's what's happening. And then we have in the city mayor cut the fire department's budget by, I want to say $15 million. And it has 17 and a half million dollars. The LA mayor cut the city's fire department, and the city, so that cut staff. And the city would go help. My husband happens to be a retired LAFD captain, and used to live down there. And so he lived in Hermosa Beach. And today I saw a post from Rick Grinnell, who lives in Manhattan Beach, which is just right next door to Hermosa Beach to the north. And he said that, hey, they were out of water. There are so many problems that they are having with the governor didn't sign the bill for the water to come from the north, and they're going, well, we don't want, just put it to the ocean. Reservoirs are down. There's just a myriad of problems that have happened. And the mayor cutting the city fires department budget, which the city would have been there sending people to help, and apparatus and everything to go help with the fire. But if you don't have water, it's handwork. It's just awful. And yeah, it's just awful. so keep those folks in Southern California in your prayers. So many have lost their homes, and I saw, it was amazing for me to see a video yesterday of a fire bulldozer, as a track bulldozer of some kind, big thing, pushing people's vehicles out of a road because they're abandoning their vehicle. They took the keys with them. If they would have left the keys in them, they could have just driven them off to the edge of the road. And this was, like the reporter said, this is like 300 feet, which is a long way. And it was like 3 and 4 vehicles across. And it's like, I'll tell you, it was people not thinking what the hell they're doing. Leave the key to your car there. So what if it has the key to the house? You've already left it. It's probably going to be burned up, you know? Anyway, it's really sad. And some people, I saw a video, Bobby's mentioning animals, some people walking their 3 horses, at least 3 horses. The video I saw was just 3 horses getting walked out of the fire. It's awful. If it's really bad. So I just want to acknowledge, keep everybody there in your thoughts and prayers. And when you have poor planning, and DEI is more important than the infrastructure to take care of the tax-paying citizens, and even those that aren't, when you put DEI over the people, it's a bad thing. And that's what I think a lot of it has happened there. I don't miss living in Southern California. I haven't lived there for a long time. Let's see. Yeah, it's going on 30, 40, 30 years. Actually, it's going on 30 years, like 20, 27, 28 years. There's just a myriad of things. And so, the Palisades Library, the Pasadena Jewish Temple, gone. There's been, it's a lot of destruction, and it's bad. But when the winds die down, which I think tonight they're supposed to, I'm not sure, then they can get more of a handle on the fire there and whatnot. But a lot of people without power, it's not a good situation. There is, and speaking of fire, I was on Twitter just before coming on, and I saw a post here from House District 3 Representative Dwayne Yunker, and he posted 4 pictures, and he just did this like an hour ago. He says a 400,000 electric city bus in Grants Pass apparently got too hot while charging today. Got carbon offsets, and it's on fire. It's toast. It's done. It burst into flames while charging. And I'm bringing this up because electric vehicles is really not the way. It isn't. Do they all burst into flames? No. But it's not the way forward. It's not as green as some of your legislators would have you believe. And I also bring it up because of the fact that I've talked previously about the school buses. Remember, the feds are giving Oregon millions and millions of dollars for electric school buses in the state of Oregon. And then if a school district receives the money for an electric bus, they must destroy the diesel engine in the other school bus that ran on diesel. That it's not just get rid of it or park it and store it. No, it is, they must destroy the engine. This is not good. And I actually commented on his post, wait until it's the school buses, because this is not a good thing at all. So, Bobby, you left SoCal in 92. I left in 95. So we're right about there, the two of us. I actually left the country for 16 years and went sailing with my husband, and then decided to settle up here because when I went sailing, I was getting ready to move to Oregon, and I love the area that I live in. But anyway, so I digress, going down a different rabbit trail there. So the fires in Southern California are awful, but these electric buses catching on fire. I mean, what? We don't need this. This is just a green scam. That's exactly what Trump calls it, and it's exactly what it is. Hey, wonderful to see you, Karen, Lori, Bobby, Marjorie. It's now I'm going to cover a few things that maybe you haven't heard about. This story I absolutely love. And this is from I'm going to post it here, the Natural Resource Report. And it is about, we have some of our lawmakers, Oregon state lawmakers, have joined together to call for the federal government's barred owl kill plan to be reversed. The 4 state lawmakers say that DOGE, I know people say, when you say an acronym, you're supposed to like say all the letters, right? It's ODOT or EPA or let's see, ODF and W. And I hear these people saying Doge. Well, it's Doji because you say all the letters. I'm just putting that out there. So anyway, 4 state lawmakers say that Doji should ground the plan to kill more than 450,000 barred owls long protected by the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, because they want to spend like $1 billion doing this. This plan is estimated, the cost of the plan is $1.35 billion. So I am really happy. And it's ridiculous. They're going, we're going to kill these barred owls because they're endangering some other owls. It's a 30-year kill plan. This is just another, frankly, I'm just going to say it. It's crap. It's kind of like the spotted owl deal. Oh no, now we have to kill these owls to protect this other owl. What the hell? Birds move around. Wildlife moves around to an area that is, except for those that are brought in. Let's say we're getting some fish from China that's now in our rivers or lakes. They didn't swim here. Okay, freshwater did not swim here. A bird can, because of the jet streams. They can ride a long, long way. I don't know where this bird came from. I don't know the backstory too much, but what I know is there's no reason that I see to waste money that's supposed to be like $45 million a year. The Center for Humane Economy and Animal Wellness Action came up with an estimate of $1.35 million for the 30-year barred owl kill plan, or about $45 million a year. That's crap. Let me tell you. It's kind of like studying underwater basket weaving. We don't need to waste our money. So I am so proud of our Oregon state lawmakers going, hello, Elon Musk, President Trump, pay attention here. Don't fund this. So it is Ed Deal, State Representatives Ed Deal, David Gomberg, Virgil Osborne, and State Senator-elect Bruce Starr. Fabulous. This is good. This is what you do. It says the barred owls are a range expanding North American native species protected under the Migratory Bird Act. Range expansion is a naturally occurring ecological phenomenon, and it is a core characteristic of many birds, species of birds and mammals, including barred owls. It's kind of like you guys have seen, if you follow me on Facebook, but I've even talked about it on here, the different hummingbirds I have through the winter. We only have one that is known to stay here, but I've taken pictures and I've got different kinds of hummingbirds in the wintertime trying to keep the darn you know, feeder thawed out so they can eat. And anyway, yeah, we just don't need it. So I'm glad that they're raising the awareness. Let's defund this. Let's kill this. This is something that doesn't need to happen. Big waste of money. So another story, this is out of Oregon Live. I'm going to hit you with some different things tonight that you might not have been aware of. And so, you know what? I don't know Ed Deal. I've just seen him on Captive Audience. I follow him on social media, but personally, I don't know him and I've not talked with him. And so I'll have to take your word for it there if he's a goat. Because I just don't know him. So this story here that I just posted is about the Ninth Circuit. And upholds Oregon's law restricting secret recordings in Project Veritas case. So Project Veritas, that was the board stole it, I will say stole it. Anyway, they were suing Oregon and for the right to secretly record a person in person. And yesterday, the Ninth Circuit, because it had gone to the Ninth Circuit, they said in a 9-2 ruling yesterday, they upheld Oregon's ban on in-person audio recording of others without informing those involved. You can do so like over the phone. You can record somebody having a conversation. It's my understanding from a lawyer that if you're just on the phone without telling them that you're recording them, but in person, you must let them know that they're being recorded. And so not Judicial Watch, Project Veritas, which according to this article, which Oregon Live is left-leaning, are calling them a right-wing group. I wouldn't call them that at all. I would definitely call them a truth teller, even though the board at the time stole the company and kicked out James O'Keefe out of his own business that he's founded. But I think James is taking them to court. And in fact, I've encouraged him to fight and take back the company, even though he's got O'Keefe Media Group that I support. I don't support, personally, I don't support Project Veritas anymore. But I thought this was interesting, an interesting case of what's going on here in Oregon. Another interesting case, there's been a lot of talk about human trafficking and the illegals and whatnot, not just in our state, but in our nation. And so this story is from KXI, and it says it was Lars Larson yesterday that Oregon's DMV is secretly fueling human trafficking with driver's licenses. And the citizens of Oregon voted like almost 2-1, voted it down. They rejected the idea of giving driver's licenses to illegal immigrants. And that was 4 years ago. And that it was voted down. But Oregon is giving them driver's licenses, and I just can't believe it. But now ODOT claims it's fighting human trafficking by raising awareness. Well, baloney. Giving driver's license to criminals who traffic in human beings and then using the sanctuary state excuse to refuse to help immigration officials isn't helping. And I do believe 100% that illegals should not be given a driver's license in a state at all. You know, I've traveled a lot. As I mentioned earlier, I lived outside of this country for 16 years. And I had gotten in various countries, had permission to be there, had visas. And with that visa, I could get a driver's license in a different country that I was. Some countries honor the driver's license that I already had in my possession from the United States. But, you know, we just don't need to give them a driver's license, because having a driver's license is also registering people to vote. And then you can take that license to another state and turn it in and get a license there. And it is like being, you know, you've just been sort of made lawful, but you're not. Nah, no, 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 no. And I remember moving here and getting my first driver's license. I had to prove I lived here and who I was, and not anymore, unless you get the special one. Now it's, oh, you have to get the special one, whatever that one's called. I don't remember. And I'm not getting that. I have a passport. That's fine. So yeah, they're definitely Oregon's DMV. Frankly, I agree with Lars, is fueling human trafficking with driver's licenses. Did you hear about the undersea volcano off the Oregon coast that's likely to erupt this year? The scientists are predicting it, but we don't know what information they're putting in the models. You know, it's getting really hard to trust the scientists, right? Well, it's 300 miles off the coast west of Cannon Beach, and it's called the Axial Seamount. And it's previously erupted in 98, which, let's see, 98, 2011, and most recently in 2015. And they are saying the signs of moving, there's signs. The surface is rising, a sign of moving magma that typically precedes an eruption. They do not believe there will be any impact to the surrounding area whatsoever. And this site is home to the world's first underwater volcano observatory, which kind of surprises me because over in Tonga, they have underwater volcanoes, lots of them actually, and around the Ha'apai group. And I didn't hiccup there. That's what it's called, the Ha'apai group. And it's an area of active underwater volcanoes, and yet you could be in warm water. But the deal is you are so far from anywhere. You're way more than 300 miles from anywhere, I guarantee you. Tonga is not, while it is civilized, there's civilization there. It's pretty dang remote. And where this is convenient, being 300 miles off the coast of Oregon, even though we get such horrific storms out in the ocean. But I digress. So just so you know, that's something else that's in the news a little bit. So I was looking through Oregon Catalyst at different articles, and this is from the Oregonian, Oregon Live. that Arizona. So there had been, let me digress a little bit. There had been talk of the governor taking some farmland and over in the Hillsboro area and for chip manufacturing. Well, there was a lot of public pushback on that, and she didn't do it. Well, Arizona wins last of 3 planned federal chip research sites. It's a setback for Oregon and Intel. So this was on Monday, this article. And I thought, well, why would Arizona win this? Why would they? Well, I'll tell you, I learned from, I think it was Lori Chavez DeReamer, that her and her husband had chip manufacturing. And you have to have power, consistent electricity. We don't have that here in Oregon. And so that was one of the first things. So I looked up in Arizona's energy sources is 46% natural gas, 23%, no, I'm sorry, 27% nuclear power, 10% coal, and 10% solar, 5% hydro. So wind was 1%. So solar and wind are not reliable energy sources. So everything there, we can go 46 and 30, call that 80. So 90%, over 90% of their power, or about thereabouts, is reliable energy source. And that's not the same in Oregon. I didn't look it up for Oregon, actually. I should have. And I think that is a big deal, because data centers require, and there's going to be huge data centers moving into the United States, more getting built, but you have to have reliable energy, consistent, reliable energy. And I remember now, I'm going to say it's about 3-4 years ago, Governor Brown had been on television, and you guys have heard me if you followed for any length of time. Governor Brown had said, be ready for brownouts and blackouts. And that's because we don't have reliable energy here in the state of Oregon. And I'm just so done with so-called renewables. There's nothing recyclable about it. It's awful for the environment. It changes. Anyway, I'm not going to go down that road, but I wanted to bring that up because I thought, why would Arizona get it? Well, they also have a lot of open space that's not necessarily real good farm ground. Arizona does have farming, but anyway, that's what it is. So the Biden administration awarded its third and final national semiconductor research site to Arizona State University on Monday, rejecting pleas from Oregon and Intel to put the site in Hillsboro. And so Arizona got it, and there we are. And it's too bad. Is it too bad? I don't know. Maybe. Intel, interestingly, in this article, Intel is actually thinking of moving some of its, where did I read that? They were looking to, Intel had hoped that they had actually asked for it to be in Hillsboro. But yet, Intel also said they're looking to put, well, they wanted to boost their own business, of course, right? But I thought I had read that they wanted to split their operation up um, into several chip makers, including Intel, announced plans to expand their Oregon operations. But no major semiconductor manufacturer picked Oregon. And I think it has to do with the reliability of power, politics, and of course the reliability of power. And so I don't know. But that's what I'm thinking. And Intel had laid off 1,300 last fall, 1,300 people in Washington County, even though it has 20,000 workers in Washington County. Yeah, I'm looking through this article trying to see about where it, because I swore I had read that they wanted to move somewhere. Oh well. So my point was about the reliable power as well. So Oregon missed out on more jobs, but part of it is reliable power. Oregon, over here in my neck of the woods in Northeast Oregon, at the Boardman had a coal-powered energy plant, which they removed, took it offline, destroyed the chimney for it, and they said they were going to put a LNG, liquefied natural gas plant in, and then they said, no, we're not going to build it. So they didn't replace it with a reliable energy source. Instead, there's more industrial wind turbines and industrial solar panel sites have gone in, and that's not reliable energy by any means. So good for Arizona, bad for Oregon. There is a correlation of I'm going to switch topics here now, like totally. Oregon, this is an interesting article that was yesterday, and actually I don't know if Kevin talked about it or not, but this is from Oregon Catalyst, and the Oregon blue states rule top the inflation states. Out of the top 10, we're number 8 for the highest cost of living. We're number 8 out of the top 10 for the highest cost of living. And then in the 10 states, let's see, with the most inflation, highest cost of living, yeah, we're number 8. All 10 of the high cost states in the high cost of living voted for favored Harris for president, while all of the low cost of living states voted in favor of Trump. No surprise, right? No surprise. And it's interesting looking at this. Arkansas is the lowest cost, and they're also a very poor state. And this is based on Cato Institute data, the high cost blue states charted in this particular article. And so, let's see. The blue states are taxing you to death, high cost of living, everything's going up. And in the red states, not so much. Pretty simple to figure out, isn't it? So I talked about immigration a little bit earlier, and this article I found very, very surprising. This is back from December 22nd. I don't know if you even heard about this. I had not, and I was surprised that I came across it. It is Oregon officials condemn a letter telling residents to track down brown people. So apparently in Lincoln County, an anonymous note in Lincoln County told people to write license numbers to find those who may be undocumented. And the law enforcement officials in Lincoln County have condemned an anonymous letter encouraging residents to track down and report brown people in the Pacific Coast community. Well, I've found this story when I was looking up about Tom Homan is, our border czar. And I was looking up things because Oregon is a sanctuary state. And then I was looking at what counties are. So there's like 2 cities, all the counties are, and 2 cities as well. And so this is about being sanctuary state and cities, but somebody wrote a letter, and I guess the mayor got it as well. The sheriff urged community members to do the right thing. And the Lincoln City mayor said she had received the letter, and the mayor of Toledo and Toledo city councilors about look out for brown people. Well, I'll tell you where I went in looking, where my mind went in reading this. You remember when they wanted everybody to get a shot and a jab, and then people didn't, and they tried to pit one against the other, and they said, "Oh, turn people in." Turn people in, and they were shaming people for not getting a shot. This kind of reminds me what this is. This reminds me of kind of that. And I don't agree with the communists' trick of trying to get people to report on others. I don't agree with that. But if you know of somebody who has broken the law that is illegal in this country, help them find them. They shouldn't be here in the first place. Illegal alien means illegal. You haven't come into this country lawfully. That is what it means. I don't care what Biden says at all. At all. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So when I looked around Springfield, Oregon, in April of 2014, in fact, all of the sanctuary cities and counties in April of 14, is when this was all passed. So I was doing some research on Oregon and its sanctuary status. And this, in fact, let me go back here because I want to say it was like in 1987. I don't know if this story has it or not. I've read so many today looking around. But I think it's 1987 and Oregon was the very first state in the Union to become a sanctuary state. But it was in 2014, I have a chart here, that it's Oregon sanctuary cities and counties. It was in 2014, and what it says is in Oregon's sanctuary law, it states something to the effect, don't quote me, I don't have it in front of me, that you cannot use the law enforcement resources, the counties or the state's resources to help find illegals in our state. And so it's to read this, the county sheriff and sheriff's office decision, and it's every county in the state of Oregon and also the city of Springfield has said they will not honor ICE detainer. Some counties say, like Clackamas County says, unless there's a probable cause for such detention. Some say will not, like, let's see, Coos County says will not honor ICE detainer without court order or warrant. Many counties say that. Or it's Gilliam County will not honor ICE detainer for individuals in Norcor, which has decided it no longer honors detainer. And Norcor is the Northern Oregon Regional Correction Facility. Okay. So there's different ones. I live in Umatilla County, and the statement from the county sheriff's decision is will not honor ICE detainer without a court order or warrant. And I'll tell you, so frankly, I think an ICE detainer, why not? Well, when the law that passed, from what I've been reading, when it passed, okay, Lori says that Brown enhanced it. And when the law passed, it says cannot. So the law forbids the financial use to help ICE. So that is your sheriff's office and whatnot. So that means that when federal officials come into the state of Oregon looking for people, they're not going to be aided and by any of it. And I just feel like it's so wrong. But listening to Tom Holman, he cites, and I wish I had it here, it's Google, and I used a different search engine, but it didn't come up with it either. I should have used my phone. The letter that was sent to every governor. So Tom Holman sent a letter to 249 governors and cities about you must honor federal law. Well, a federal law, there are states' rights, and I get that. But the federal government is the only one that is in charge of immigration. But a state does have the right to protect themselves from immigration. Now, that was just proven by Texas fighting and going to court. But I think the test is going to be in the courts. Does a state have the right to protect people that are breaking federal law? And I think that answer is going to be no. And so we're gonna have to see about that. And I agree with Lori. We need federal legislation law on this issue, especially given the current conditions. It needs to I think our Congress needs to act on this. And because personally, I don't believe in sanctuary cities, and I don't believe in sanctuary state. I live in one, but just because I live here doesn't mean that I believe in that. And if you are here illegally, unlawfully, and especially breaking our laws, but regardless of breaking our laws, you shouldn't be here. And, Trump has said things like, you should self-deport now, because if we have to deport you and you can't come back in, and if you do, like for 10 years, and if you do, you're going to prison. And frankly, that should be it. Every country in the world has sovereign borders. Well, not necessarily the EU, because you get into one of the European Union countries. Now you can supposedly go everywhere, right? Before they all said check your papers, see if you have a visa. How many countries that I had to apply for visas, and one in French Polynesia applied for a long stay visa that was good for 5 years before we ever arrived there. You couldn't, once you arrive, you could only apply for a 3-month visa and get one extension. That was it. And so, yeah, I lived almost 5 years in French Polynesia. Had we stayed there just a few more months, I would have legal residency there. I wish we had, because I really loved it. But every country I went to, you had to, and if you wanted to extend your visa, they wanted to see that you could financially support yourself. You had to show bank statements and prove that you had, and health insurance, because they didn't want you becoming a burden on society. There's nothing wrong with that. And I can talk all day long about this because I've been to so many countries and I've traveled so much. And every country I've had to go into they give you a visa upon arrival. When you arrive by boat, you have to show your papers from the country you've come from. And when you have left a country, you have to say where you're going. And, there's countries that you fly into that you must have a return ticket. You cannot buy a one-way ticket to go there. Visa or no visa, you must have a round-trip ticket because you're leaving. And it's very, very interesting to what people think in our nation, that it's okay. It's okay. They just come in here. I have people that are from Peru, Costa Rica, and Germany in my family, and they all came here lawfully. Well, two of the three are American citizens, and they hate that we have these illegals, this open border policy. And Americans should hate it because it is also holding our wages down. It is. And yes, Lori, and some countries won't allow you to work. In fact, I never applied to work in any of them. But most of them will not allow you to work there. When you're just there on a tourist visa, and a lot of places give you 3 months, some places give you 6 months. And yeah, so it is, we are a sovereign nation and we can have a sovereign border, and the illegals that are here need to go. I'm all for the deportation. I can't wait to see it. And I want to see some shock and awe. There was on this sanctuary thing, I'll tell you, I'm going to post this because it shows you, it's from Oregon Catalyst, and it takes you to the link that lists what I was looking at, all of the different sanctuary cities and counties and what it says. Then there is, I'm going to post this link. This was from the Arch. It's from an Amazon something or other that has all of the states sanctuary cities list. It lists the states and or cities that are sanctuary. And then I have another link I'm going to post, and just give me a minute. And it has a map. And I went, holy cow, look at this map. Map of the United States, and it's cis.org, map sanctuary cities, counties, and state. And it's actually interactive. You can click on, it shows you if the states are sanctuary, and you can put your cursor over this interactive map, and it will tell you. So, for example, on Oregon, it says it was enacted in July of 1987. And the detainer policy is all requests from federal agencies or to state or local government agencies or law enforcement about immigration enforcement should be documented, reported, and denied by the local agency received. Now, I don't know that that's all part is true, but it says the policy maker, decision maker, and it gives ORS 181.850. And so it was in 1987 that it was enacted. I had read that somewhere else earlier. So there are many states that are sanctuaries. They are in Utah, in Idaho, I'm sorry. There is one sanctuary county, Power County. No, that is not Boise. It's east of Boise. And we don't know, this company that did put this together did not know when. It doesn't say the date enacted, it says unknown. But this is the source is June 2024 ICE detainer acceptance report. And it's a county jail policy that in the county jail of Power County, apparently, in Power County, Idaho, is the only sanctuary anything in Idaho. There's nothing in Texas. There's nothing in Florida or Georgia or Alabama or Mississippi. There is one in Tennessee. Is that Tennessee? Yes, Shelby County, Tennessee. January of 2019, and it's a sheriff policy, will not honor ICE detainer without court order or warrant, limited cooperation. And so it has these little squares you can click on. There is in North Carolina, there is in South Carolina, certain counties. And I thought, and I had no idea, it says that Idaho or Utah is is a sanctuary state, and that it was enacted May of 2023. But it says it's only certain counties. So it refuses ICE intergovernmental service agreement contracts to house ICE detainees. So they're not going to house the ICE detainees. So I found this fascinating, this interactive map. Montana has none. Wyoming has one county. Let's see. Teton County, Wyoming. That's where Jackson's going to be, I think. I'm not sure. Don't know. And they're just not going to cooperate in Teton County. It's the county jail policy. Very interesting how things are across our nation. That there are some counties, and on there it says there's part of a regional jail it's going to be affected. Some it's a city, it's a county, a state, a state facility. So I found this thing to be very, very interesting, and it was updated yesterday, January 7th of 2025. It was originally published in July of 2015, and it's the Center for Immigration Studies. And it's their low immigration, pro-immigration, and they're very much all pro-immigration. And so it's a map here of that. So that would definitely tell you where to go if you are here illegally, right? I mean, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, So I just found that and interesting. Now, here was an interesting letter, and it made me look up this other one of the Utah. And I'm going, let's see. It says Utah is a sanctuary, but yet the whole state on this map. But yet, this is interesting. And this is dated January 22nd. It's a joint letter from the Utah Sheriff's Association to the incoming Trump administration. And it says it's on the letterhead also of the Office of the Governor, State of Utah. It has on there. And I want to tell you that the Utah Sheriff's Association is a 501c3. So it's an organization. And they are saying, please get us, I kind of found that funny. Please get us bring us a different, there's a long list of policies to fix. The Biden administration's immigration policies have been an unmitigated failure that continues to place humanitarian, public safety, and public health burdens on state and local leaders. We are enclosing a copy of recent announcement Governor Cox made in preparation for our work with the Trump administration. This letter is actually, it's Dear Tom and Governor Noem. This is to Tom Homan and Kristi Noem, because they will be the incoming, and it is signed by Governor Cox. So what they are requesting, first, we need an immediate leadership change in the Salt Lake City Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, office. Personnel matters a lot, but especially with challenging work that requires close collaboration between federal, state, and local authorities. I found this letter so refreshing. Looking around at things. Oregon, we are so screwed up, you know. But Utah is working on that. So what confused me was, here's the Utah Sheriff's Association writing this letter, signed by the governor and different sheriffs. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sheriffs and the governor. Okay. And yet this other map says that Utah is a sanctuary state. That I'm confused by. So, hey, there's some food for thought. And here in Oregon, our Attorney General creates a sanctuary toolkit ahead of the likely Trump-Holman illegal immigration crackdown. And it's, they're going to do everything they can to, they're going to spend a lot of our tax money fighting our federal government. It's going to be interesting how this plays out. Let me post this story as well in the links here. And I thought tonight was a good time to talk about the immigration. And, it's a big deal. It's a big deal in our nation and also in our state. I'm all for immigration. Let's have legal immigration. Get in line, apply, come on in. Have something that you are going to help America with. Have a trade. Be educated, or come here as a wealthy tourist and spend your money. Come and live here even, if you are tired of living wherever you are, but have the means to support yourself, have something to contribute to our country. We're a wonderful country. We welcome immigration. We just want it lawfully. And I think that I speak for a lot of Americans when I say that. Hey, everybody, I hope you enjoyed our show tonight. Like and share it all around. and I'll be back on Friday.